I'm Shae Russell for mining.com.au, and joining me today is Julian Woodcock, the Managing Director for Viking Mines. Julian, it's great to see you again. How are you?
It's great to see you too, Shae. As always, I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
You would be, because I believe a gold geologist is back to specialising in his gold territory. Viking Mines have just recently announced that they will be progressing with their first hit gold project. You and I haven't talked about this one before. Could you give me a little bit of background to it?
Yeah, sure. First Hit Gold Project is initially the asset was brought into the company in 2021 when I joined, and it was the reason I joined Viking Mines with my gold background and my technical expertise. Saw a great opportunity in the acquisition tenement, which at the time was just a small 7 square kilometre block of ground, about 8 kilometres north of Oro Banda mining Riverina operation. Since that time, a number of things happened within the gold space. We did some work on there, but the key thing is for Viking and our shareholders is that we've significantly grown the land position. So we've been pegging ground, we've been doing some deals on getting additional access, and we've ultimately, that's culminated in having around 480 square kilometres of ground under application and for our access, of which there is a core area, about 25 kilometres of strike of the Zulika Shear, which is a prolific gold hosting shear zone within the Eastern Goldfields, and which we're currently about to embark on a large exploration program.
We'll tap into that exploration program shortly. But first of all, I wouldn't mind going back to revisit the recent heavily subscribed capital raising that Viking Mines undertook. There seems to be a lot of interest for this project, given its location to Oro Banda. Tell me, is this just another nearology play?
No, it's definitely not a nearology play. An analogue I would use is a nearology could be in the same suburb, but we're on the same street. So you've got Oro Banda mining, definitely a market darling in the gold space, gone from a 50 million market cap to 1.5 billion, seen great improvements in their production. They are immediately along strike and adjacent to our tenure with their Riverina underground gold mine. Also further south, about 40 kilometres, is their Davyhurst mill and operations. The two main gold producing areas that are under Oro Banda's ownership is the Riverina Moline camp, which has collectively seen production and remaining resources of about 1.3 million ounces. As I said, that's in the same street as us. And down at the Davyhurst, central Davyhurst area, again, another 1.2 million ounce or so area of historical production and remaining resources. And all that stratigraphy that hosts the gold runs straight up into the tenure that we have and we're going to be exploring for gold on the Zulika Shear.
Well, that takes me part of my favourite part of these conversations, and that is, how are you going to spend this money? Tell me, what does this drill program look like?
Yeah, so we've just recently announced to market the detail on the targets, so any potential investors can go on our website and have a look at that announcement. There's a lot of detail, geological detail in there, meeting all our disclosure requirements. But essentially, given it's such a large area, 25 kilometres of strike, about 80 square kilometres of focus area on the Zulika Shear, we're embarking on a series of phased RC drill programs. So we initially will be undertaking by the end of this year about a 5,000 metre drill program at the northern duplex, which is going to put a few drill traverses across a very prospective area that's got geochemical anomalies, good structural setting from the geology. And those traverses will be heel to toe drilling, so every drill hole will end and line up with the previous hole, which means we should get full coverage across the ground. And on the back of those results, we should be able to identify the pathways where the gold is formed. Now, these sections are about 1.5 kilometres apart. And for context, at the Riverina mine that I've mentioned, that entire surface expression of that system is less than a kilometre. So our drill spacing is going to be wide, but it needs to be wide because we're covering a big area. We're just looking for those initial indications of which of the main structures have got the gold in. And then we'll follow up in probably the March quarter next year, once we've got the assay results from this first phase of drilling, with the next round of drilling. And the program is going to be staged in a number of phases.
Now, Julian, just going back to the drilling program, initially it was going to be 5,000 metres, but I believe you've expanded it to cover around 20,000 metres. What does this mean for the company?
Yeah, you're right. So we originally started off with this 5,000 metre program that we had in the workings. And given the amount of interest that we had in the project, and we were presented with the opportunity really to raise some additional funds. We took that opportunity. We were funded just to complete the 5,000 metre program and probably a bit more, but we given and raised about $2.4 million thereabouts. As you've just said, we can expand that to probably around a 20,000 metre drill program. So what that means is this first step or first phase that we're undertaking in the December quarter, we'll get the results back in the early to middle part of the March quarter. We'll then get straight back out, probably late February, looking to follow up on those results that we get now. And as well, as I mentioned, it's a large area. You read the announcement we've put out. There's multiple other targets that will also start putting first heel to toe traverses across those and really undertaking a staged exploration approach. So this substantial 20,000 metre program gives us a really good opportunity to have a really good go at what is an extensive and very attractive geological setting in the same street as Ora Banda mining, which will see really the best opportunities for us to discover new gold deposits.
Listen, Julian, that sounds like you have a lot of work ahead, but I very much look forward to see the results of that drilling campaign. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks very much for having me, Shae.